Hello, it's Apocalypse with part 2 on my Stronghold Kingdoms tips videos. Now, today we're going to be covering the basics of a good village and how to start off. First off, you're going to need to support your peasants. Your peasants are basically the most important part of your village because they make up the village. They're the ones that work in it, they're the ones that you can eventually train the troops, and you're going to want to support as many of them as you can to get the most benefits out of having a wide population, like getting a bigger army or having more buildings to do things with. Now, first you're going to want to be able to feed them, make sure that they can actually survive here, and that you'll be getting more coming in. So, when you're done with the tutorial, you'll probably have an apple farm up. My first suggestion on the first thing you do, build a couple more apple farms. Build maybe three or four more. That'll suffice for quite a lot more peasants, and you won't have to worry about it. Next, obviously, go into resources so you can continue to build more buildings in the future. Make woodcutters and stone quarries. Make them evenly so you're not really having one type of resource a lot more than the other, because that would just be waste. You want to build them kind of evenly so the buildings that you're making, since they do require an almost even amount of stone and wood, you can build them and not have more. You see, what I'm trying to say is you want an even supply of both. It's better to have little of both than a lot of one thing and none of the other. Now, a quick tip that not many people knew or know, and what I didn't find out until weeks after starting the game, is your stockpile's location greatly varies your income on certain resources. Now, let's check right here. Currently, I am producing 7.5k stone a day. When I decide to move this stockpile over closer to the stone, the numbers changed to 10.5k. Such a small amount of movement made me have a lot more stone. So if you're low on one side, like I am, I don't have a lot of wood compared to my stone, you may just want to move your stockpile closer to that for the day. It basically allows the workers to get there faster and then go back to chopping wood. So now that we covered points 1 and 2, 1 being feeding your villagers, 2 being actually getting more resources, you want to go into the third most important part, which is getting more villagers. You're going to want to make hovels. Hovels are basically little houses, little apartments that you can think of that your villagers will move into. Now, they will give you more or less depending on where they are located on the map as well. Your village hall is what directly affects how many villagers can live in each hovel. Right now, this hovel can hold 12 people, but once I move it down here, it can now only hold 8. So always try to make them close to the village. Now that points 1, 2, and 3 are done, let me just reiterate. 1, you gotta get food for your people. 2, you gotta get resources to build things for your people. 3, you gotta have people. You gotta have more people moving in. Fourth most important thing is having a market. A market allows you to trade with other parishes once you're at a higher level, but most importantly, it allows you to trade with your parish capital. Chances are, if you're starting the game now, there's already a parish steward where you're starting out, and they've already sold goods to the parish capital. Now, in order for you to get access to those goods and able to buy them, you're going to want to make a market. The market allows you to train a merchant, which can go into the capital and buy the goods. Now, the reason this is important is because it takes a while for you to farm the goods, farming wood, farming stone. So if you're low, maybe like 1,000 wood, and you don't want to wait the rest of the night to get that wood, you're going to want to send a merchant out and buy that wood, bring it right back. It will cost you gold, which can be hard to get at the start, but I'll go over an easy way to make gold soon. Now, the reason that's so important is because based on the time, and because you're just starting out now in the game, you're going to want to try to catch up to their players pretty fast so you can't get bullied. And what I mean by bullying is the local warlord basically threatening you to give in to his demands, otherwise he's going to use his army to crush you. So, yes, feed your people, get resources for your people, get more people to move in, and have a market. Now, those are the basics on starting your village, so we're going to get into the next most important part, aside from the actual village, your skill points. Now, There are 4 tabs: industry, military, farming, and education. Speccing into each one provides different benefits, but there is definitely a very kind of cookie cutter way of speccing into them. You're going to want to spec into education first because it allows for basically easier early game bonuses. Now, what I mean by that is like a granary capacity. That'll increase your availability of food. So if you get off overnight, and you come back in the morning and your granary is full, that's a problem because that was wasted time. You could have had a bigger granary and continued to earn food. So also with your stockpile, you go offline, you wake up, you have all your entire thing's full of stone. That's a waste because all that time that is full, you could have been earning more. You're going to want to put a couple points into those early on, and I would say maybe one or 2 points max, because you're not going to be maxing out if you get on maybe like once a day for 20 minutes and build your buildings. A very important tab is industry. It allows you to get more wood, get more stone for your farms. So this basically increases the effectiveness of them, and it also increases the effectiveness of those honor farms I was talking about, like the hunters, the workshops, and all that. Now, I put a lot of points into them because I was falling behind on honor and not leveling up as fast, because I decided to spec in the military first. I do have a very big army in a castle that is probably the best in the county, or maybe second best. I'm not sure because there's always going to be someone better than you out there. But if you want to be rich, I would suggest doing this. Put a couple points into education to make sure you have a big granary, big stockpile. Maybe putting 1 or 2 points into stone quarrying and forestry so you can start making a lot more resources. And then max farming. Any type of farming you want to continue doing, apples or maybe cheese products, you want to put a lot of points into that. I have a friend that has vastly beaten me in gold and his honor level because he maxed out a farming first. He made a crap load of apples faster than me because I didn't put any points in this. I was too busy putting them into military. Now he sells apples to his parish and other parishes. He sells hundreds of thousands a day. Not a day, maybe 100,000 in a span of 2 days. But he's able to sell them so fast, and he gets so much money because he has a lot of merchants. So you're going to want to put a lot of points into a farming tab to get a lot of money. Now, if you want to maybe not be completely rich, put a couple points into farming and then go into military. What I would suggest you to research first is forced march. You'll find it on the bottom, but I don't have it because I already mixed it up. You'll find it on the bottom, and it basically increases your army's movement speed. The reason this is important is because it allows you to kill wolf camps and everything nearby, which is really important. You're also going to want increased castellation, which is that automatic keep on your castle that fires arrows. So if you don't have a crap load of archers to defend your stuff with, then you're going to want that keep firing a lot of arrows. So upgrade that too, maybe a couple points. And then go into defenses. Defense is really important because it increases the defenses of your archers that will be on the walls, and it basically makes them harder to kill, and it makes your walls harder, also making it hard to get through and into your keep. Very important thing with Vex. Now, also you're going to be training troops here. So if you want to research certain troops, let's say you just start the game out but you haven't been able to make any archers and you're wondering why. All you gotta do is go into the military and research the type of troop. You'll see a little icon and it'll have a picture of an archer. You train that, and then you go into the skill that unlocked and you train that ability. It's very easy to see, but I can't show you right now because I would need a new account. And it's very self-explanatory once you look into it. Now, like I said, the industry tab is very important, but let's just reiterate what you should max first, or what you should put points into. 1. Start out, get some capacity for your granary and stockpile. 2. Increase your stone quarrying and forestry. 3, or I would say this ties with 1. So I'd say, sorry for being confusing on this, but education, very important. Put some points into that for your capacity. 2, put into farming. 3, increase your resources farmed. And then 4, go into military. Now these are kind of interchangeable, so if you want to be really rich, I would say go into farming and education. If you want to be well off with your army and train them pretty fast, go into military and industry. Military and industry help you make your castle, help you make your troops. Farming and education help increase your village and increase your money. Now, you can basically choose whatever way you want to go, but I'm just going to be telling you that I spec'd into military very heavily, and I paid for it. I am about 100,000 honor behind my friend that started at the same time, or 5 minutes after me. He started off in farming and education. He sells so many different goods a day to different parishes. He makes tens of thousands of gold per hour, while I can't even say I make that in a day. Now, my castle is one of the most formidable in the area, like I said, but I would definitely trade that for the option of making a lot of gold. Now that the video is coming to a close, we're just going to do a quick recap. 1, you want to be able to have farms to feed your people. 2, you want to get resources through woodcutters or stone quarries. 3, you want to have more people coming in, and they can do that via the use of hovels. 4, you want to have a market so you can account for any deficiencies in resources that you'll have. And with your talent trees, if you want to be rich, go into education farming. If you want to have a very secure feeling, your castle and your troops, go into military and industry. Now, you can mix and match these, go into industry and farming, but that is not going to be the best because they don't really go that well together. This has been Lopocalypse, and I hope this video helped anyone that's having trouble starting out in this game. If you have any specific questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll get back to answering them. I check the messages almost every day, and if I don't get back to you within 24 hours, send me a personal message. I may have not seen the video comment, and it's always good to send me a message if you have anything that you want answered.